ladies and gentlemen, the China people supposed to be saying thank you for the deng shopping, which become the father of the development of economy in China. Why? Because this kind of people is the one who injecting also penetrating the idea of democracy in the aspect of economy, and that's the reason why now the economy of China is growing so fast. Even based regarding the prediction of Goldman Sachs, China will be replace America as a superior country in the world in 2050. So in here that actually this is the time for China to implementing the idea of democracy in all aspects of the country. Why? Because we believe that actually this is based on the demand of society. That would be elaborated into my contentions. But before we come into my contention, I would like to give a couple of rebuttals. First, about the idea of democracy, but second, about the relativity of social contract, and third of all, about the practicality. Let's come into the first rebuttals about the practicality. They believe that actually the problem in here is so severe because China has 1.2 billion of people, which is supposed to be fed by the government in the first place. But in here we believe that actually the combinations of the democracy and also the communism, which already exist in the first place, in the terms of economy, it's already worked to eliminate, to escalating 500 people from the absolute poor people to the good people, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of economy, ladies and gentlemen. And here we believe that actually it means that regarding to the demand of the society, which already get education from the Western society, Western country, which already exists in the first place, we believe that actually the demand of society upon the idea of democracy exists, and that's the reason why the government should observe these kind of things, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because we believe that actually these kind of things, can erase the idea, the problem of poor case gradually in the future, ladies and gentlemen. But in here we believe that actually, even though we believe that actually democracy has a weakness, but we believe that actually democracy is more apprehended than communism. I characterize what the problem here. Democracy can create economic prosperity. For example, what happened in America, UK, and so forth. Second, it can create freedom of speech, expression, security of human rights. But how about the communist? It's only provide economy. Even economy is limited by the government in the first place. For example, what happened in status quo right now, when the people that already earning money so much these kind of thing, majority is supposed to be goes to the government to be managed by the government and shares equally for all party and society. That's the reason why there are so many badminton players in China goes to be a Taipei citizen or another country because they believe that actually their right as an individual, so they follow the government in the first place. Let's come into first contentions about the idea of relative countries. Yes, we believe that actually every single country has different demand, but we believe that actually there is a fundamental demand that's supposed to be reached by the government in the first place. First is security, which already found in the first place because the government already made the insecurity feelings to our society. When society makes something which against the government will take these people to the prison. That's the paranoia that exists in South Korea right now. Second, about the basement. Okay, let's assume that the basement is already happened. Third, about this aspiration to be heard by the government. It's part of the idea of right of politics, and that's the reason why it's already and this is the universal value. Second, I rebuttal about democracy is bad in terms of economy. No, ladies and gentlemen, no matter how great the economy can be achieved by the communism, we believe that actually it still can create many harms to society. For example, right now, when China to practice the idea of communism in the particular aspect in the economy, it's still harming society and victim of society. For example, right now, the demolitions the resident of China, it can be happen at will when the government want to build such kind of such kind of infrastructures. No matter what they want, why the willingness of the society, the government can do these things at will, ladies and gentlemen. So let's come into my contention. So the idea that democracy, with democracy, prosperity will be there, ladies and gentlemen. We can neglect the fact that actually China is one of the brilliant countries in the first place, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because China is practicing the idea of red carpet policy that attract many foreign domestic, foreign direct investment, which can that parallel the idea of democracy in the first place, which already backlashing the idea of communism. For example, like freedom of people or investors to choose what they want to invest, and second about the idea or the people to take advantage fully for whatever they want. That's only happen in the investors in the very first place. But how about the people peoples in China itself. There is no significant benefit that they get in the first place, ladies and gentlemen. And we believe that actually we have to do some things to make them become the prosperity. Even if prosperity is already there, for example, like what happened in 500 people in China which already escaped from the poor, absolute poor, we believe that actually prosperity is not still there. It's not there. Why? Because the measurement of the prosperity is not simply about the materials, but the measurement of the prosperity is consists two. First, materials. Second is psychology, need of the peoples. Let's come to first materials. Okay, let's assume the materials are going to be fulfilled by the government in the first place. But how about the physiologically need of the people, ladies and gentlemen, sir? Which is the parallel with the idea of prosperity. What is the physiology? What the psychologically thinks is about aspiration, actualization to self the expressions. Second, to pursue the happiness that's handled by the government with a couple of regulation instruments that harm them to actualize their self. For example, like the regulations to ban the people unless the member of the Communist Party to join in the political field. So it means that actually this already make harms. So thus we believe that actually as the wise government that has a functions, the government should implement their functions. What the functions? First, to create welfare that already happens right now. Second, to make a security. But in here, the actual security is not there. Because why? Because people is feel insecure. Because why? Because the government can threat them at will when for the sake of economy, for the sake of their superiority. And third, about to grant the individual of the people. And here we that actually the individual of the people is something which is absolute. Regarding to the idea of, regarding to the theory of Emmanuel Kant, and what is the individual of the people? First, the sovereignty of self-individuals, meaning that every single person has absolute right to determine their life. It's not, there is no intervention from the government in the first place, which exists right now. Second, right to politics, which is also banned by the government. Second, right upon the freedom of speech, which is totally banned by the government in the first place. For example, like what happened right now when China already blocked billions of sites which already make a threat for the government in the first place. Thus, we believe that actually we have to do these things because we believe that actually society deserves to get better. Thank you.